So, dann mal einen wunderschönen guten Mittag hier auf SpeedGaming und wait, this is the English restring. Welcome everyone here to another race of the Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament. Top 32 action game 3 between zenarcane and Teto. We have an hard open, so qualifier mode, and yeah, we see boots already in the Lost Woods, so makes for a very nice quick start. Also got already bombs from the triple, so no worries for Kakariko. Yeah, we will see what's happening in this. Don't think we saw a map check already. If we did, never mind then. We will get to that later. What's the special, or what are the notable things of this mode? We do have hard pieces, a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot. As we are seeing another one in Bonk Rocks. zenarcane went back for it. Teto was skipping it for now. Maybe waiting to route it in later with back of escape, with the mountain. We do have options for that. Yeah, otherwise we do have non-progressive bows, or more likely a bow and a silver arrows upgrade, so we will have to find that single bow most likely at some point. Oh, we do have a hammer here in the blind side out. So, nice opening set of items. A hard piece to no one's surprise. Otherwise, no blue mail, no half magic. So, kind of the usual hard mode stuff. 4 bottles placed, but only 1 obtainable. All of them are empty on finding them. So, yeah. Let's see how our runners are going to fare with that. Yep. We see, as I mentioned, many hard pieces. A lot of them. Like, really a lot of them. Teto deciding to taking a second trip through the wall, getting the last bit of money for the bottle vendor. Also, something slightly important here, as we see a bottle here in Chicken Hut, so we can also immediately check ticket. But Teto did a second 3-pull for an additional 4 bombs, and with this low amount of money, that can be kinda helpful. Yeah, doing mini Moldam Cave with hammer, you can do it. You probably don't want to do it. Hammer hitbox on those mini Moldams is always makes for interesting fights in there, let's say it like this, and having those additional bombs there can maybe make life much easier for Teto. But yeah, aside from the hammer and that bottle, Kakariko, yeah, not having much besides hard pieces. zenarcane deciding to grab that 20 rupees in the library. Teto saying nope, not really needed. And oh, surprise, a hard piece on race game. Yeah. zenarcane not now able to buy bombs, so let's see if that's maybe a priority right now. To have some options, as we had the single arrow in the endings house. Teto heading towards South Shore. 7 bombs and a hammer. most likely more than enough. But let's see if both our runners are prioritizing Minimoldum Cave, or if we maybe see an Egina check from one of them. Combination with the dam. Well, never mind the bomb advantage from Teto. We have a sword outside the dam that will be much more useful for Minimoldum Cave, and overall having a sword with boots, that's very nice. Now we are able to dash through all of those pesky enemies. And Minimoldum Cave becomes much more comfortable. Nice full magic drop from the Minimoldums. We have Moonfall, and that's the most notable thing here. Everything else was kinda not really that helpful. Bit of money, which will put zenarcane to pot money. We should get Darkwood access soon. That would be an available check, but without the bow, probably none of our runners very interested in going there early. So, with Moonpearl with boots, we do have also the option of doing some sort of water walk and fake flapper shenanigans. Looks like Teto is at least contemplating some of those. See, Waterfall Fairy as a hard container for us. And hands out bees, not the best. And oh, 4th art piece. Good thing that we do have the Moonpearl, so Teto is getting his water walk back. And not a 4th art piece for zenarcane. Both checking Zora Ledge, but not nearly enough money to pay that big fish. So, running it back towards Man Under Bridge. 300 rupees on Lake Hylia. Maybe something worth remembering if we get an early mirror, kinda-ish. And the flippers. That would be one easier way to get Zora money, depending on our route. But Hobo, also not. Handing out anything else than what most of the seed already has, namely heart pieces. There are 48 of them in the pool, so yeah, that's quite a bit more than 25% of everything that's here in the game. Somewhere around that, at least. Oh look, surprise! Uncle has a heart piece. But we did find the powder in combination with the hammer that is checkable. And zenarcane says no to the front of Hyrule Castle. And instead is doing other things. So, not much here in logic yet. Those 10 arrows are the only thing that are with our current item set. zenarcane. Maybe having that in mind, heading over towards the eastern area instead, finds the glove in Saha's closet, and now has Dark World access. We do have the map here in front of Castle. Meanwhile, zenarcane. To Dark World, Pot is abandoned, Mire is abandoned, and we have red crystals in Ice Palace and Skull Woods. So Ice Rod needed, Flute not necessarily. And in combination with Green Pendant Desert, we do need our bow after all. Let's see what's here in Hype Cave. There was nothing of interest for Teto in front of Hyrule Castle. Now going for the quick check of the Bonkrocks too. Yeah, meanwhile, just the Master Sword in Hype Cave, which is yeah, nice. We do need it at some point if we want to defeat Ganon, and having it earlier than later, certainly preferable, but not immediately helpful in terms of getting new checks. And looks like zenarcane is tending to head over to the pyramid. I wonder if that means that zenarcane is maybe wanting to dip an early Pendant Pot, or if this is just the route up to Catfish, which I would not like too much at this point, with Zora still open. But looks like that's that is what zenarcane has in mind. Teto also checked the powder, turned out to be nothing, and is now heading over towards the eastern area. Will find the glove and then probably head over to Hype Cave 2. Let's see how Teto is routing this from here on. Catfish has the mirror! Oh, that is a great find for zenarcane. And that could potentially spell much trouble for Teto. Mirror, one of the items that would prompt you to do Catfish more earlier than not. Okay, Teto doing back of escape first, which zenarcane is also doing right now. That mirror that could be potentially huge here for zenarcane. As I said, that Catfish check right now, especially with most of the Zora flipper checks already done, but Zora isolated. Not that usual to do it this early. Mirror also opening up the mountain now, and including access to Tower of Hera. We do have an item in Dark Cross. Teto is going for it with the big key from the back here. zenarcane not having done front of castle, not willing to commit to it right now. Yeah, now zenarcane thinking about checking the powder and then remembering, wait, I have the mirror. I don't need to do this right now. I can do it later when I'm around that area anyway. And to no one's surprise, another heart piece in Dark Cross. Okay, now Teto starting Dark World on Hype Cave, while also getting the Master Sword. It will be very interesting to see what Teto decides to do here. There are a few options you have. And that's not the hammer. Yep, so what I thought Teto would do, heading over to the west, checking Stumpy and Digging Game, then has potentially Crystal Thief Town routing up towards Skull Woods, hoping to get the fire rod on the way. Don't have to worry about leaving anything of this behind here in the south. And we have Flute and Thief Town. Not strictly necessary in the seed, in speaking in terms of items needed to complete, but we need a way to get into... no, never mind. Desert is pendant too. So yeah, that flute, kinda suspicious. We don't really need it. Could be our logical access to the mountain, which would enable the lamp to be further down or buried a bit more deep in the seed. But yeah, otherwise we could have had gotten the book as access to Desert Palace, but with Desert and Maya pendant, access to that area was never strictly necessary, so maybe that's a slight hint of the seed to say there's something required hidden in that area. Okay. I'm a bit surprised that Teto is starting here in Skull Woods without the fire rod, but having done this south already. Oh, and we do have the cane in Thief Town too, so that one we need, and will make certain things much nicer. Especially Ice Palace once we have access. And that's a mushroom in the front of Skull Woods. And the fire rod in Skull Woods. Well, never mind. Yeah. Teto clearly in the nose. But with the route zenarcane is taking, I'm very much expecting to head up to Skull Woods, check the front. Then maybe get King's Tomb and Graveyard Edge, or maybe get that first and then do Skullwoods and end there. Would mean isolating Race Game and Stumpy a bit. K45 for zenarcane, which could be the reason zenarcane heads to the south. And that could be a potentially bad thing in leaving behind the fire rod for a bit. Going to check the powder now. More done for Teto. Zenarcane floating back to the portal. And is checking Sea House. And head to the south. So this might pull zenarcane away from the fire rod for a bit. I imagine the most likely next play would be the mountain, with East Death Mountain accessible. And getting back to Skullwoods will be very unattractive until you get the mids. While Teto checking Bumper Ledge and then heading towards Thieves Town, getting that second crystal. And we get to see K45 from zenarcane. Which is only 5 rupees. And floating away probably to 1. No, back to 3. Also slightly surprising, but apparently not wanting to leave behind Skullwoods. That's good for zenarcane. As mentioned, there's also Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, both notorious to hold the mids with early mirror and boot. So yeah, zenarcane in a pretty good position here. Will finding that fire rod soon here. And yeah, for Teto that mirror is definitely a bit out of the way. He has no really good routes to get to it currently. Zenarcane starting in the middle here. Well, getting the key from the middle. Starting there. Yeah, we'll be running a bit back and forth here because of that, since there was already key here too. But still, we'll be able to get the second crystal here without any problems too. Also, with that flute active, zenarcane will probably do a quick turn-in of the mushroom. We do have the powder, so no need to think about powder or fake powder shenanigans. And it is a pretty quick check. And there are a few things that would make our mountain trip even nicer if we would have them. So I think a quick mushroom turn-in would be probably a good idea. Second crystal for Teto. zenarcane struggling a bit more on the morph. Yeah, hammer and master sword. Not the hammer not the easiest to use against the most, especially if it's hugging these spikes. But gets it done with a pirate shot to finish it. And here, one big part of Teto's problems is, without the mirror, he has to go back to Sanctuary and go to Kakariko an additional time to activate that flute. And all these little time saves that will start accumulating. They continue to happen. Putting Teto here in a very precarious position. Also, Teto's options here to continue are not great. He has one check up on the mountain in logic, and the second one with the old man. He has Pyramid Catfish. He has Zora. Not the money. We do have Agino. And there's Pod. Without a bow. We do have a bottle, so if Teto really wants to, he could grab a potion, do a potion camera unlock to get to the right side. Which I would think would probably be a good idea if you intend to head over there. See Graveyard Edge King's Tomb on the other side from zenarcane. And both had nothing. Okay, Teto also turning in the mushroom. As well as zenarcane. For a heart piece! Surprise! Who could have expected that? Teto up to the mountain, will do the old man, and do probably Spec Rock 2 just to hope to get a bow, mids, Hookshot, mirror, something that will him allow to do something else. And that potion buy of a red potion there was probably an indicator of Teto intending to do pot soon. So yeah, that mirror on Catfish, that is more and more likely to get a hard last location from Teto. We do have silvers up on Spectacle Rock and only arrows inside. So zenarcane will be able to grab that silvers. Ah, Teto also doing Spike Cave. Okay, that was the potion for. Yep, Spike Cave doable with this, although not in logic. You need around 13 hearts, 13 and a quarter hearts, if you do not want to be very precise about Spike Cave. 11 hearts and the red potion, that's more than enough, and it is just money. And zenarcane deciding to not go into Hera immediately, instead heading over to East Death Mountain first. I think that this is probably in preparation to do a Spike Cave after Hera if possible, because I do not see any reason to not to go into a Crystal Hera here if you are having to go up that way anyway. Yes, we do not have a mountain to a hookshot to do Hera pot, and if the big key in the basement, it feels really slow to do Hera that way, but it is still a crystal, so you do have to do it at some point, and you are looking for your mids. They would already help over on East Death Mountain if you have them. Teto on the way over to Palace of Darkness. It is a pendant, so no need to finish it. Going in here without a bow, not the biggest problem. Well, there are the Titan's mids, so zenarcane definitely here with the correct decision. Can now do Super Bunny Cave immediately, get the first chest of Hookshot Cave, take a peek at the Turtle Rock Medallion, and then head back over to Hera. Meanwhile, Teto setting up for the potion camera unlock with the green potion. Drinks the potion while moving to the left in the corridor before this room. That prevents the camera from locking onto the sprite. And gets rewarded with a tempered sword. Not the worst price for 60 rupees, I'd say. And first chest of Hookshot Cave incoming here. Just 20 rupees. And looks like zenarcane sets up to try And hover Hookshot Cave, first attempt, not coming very far, giving him at least one more try. Also not looking good, and saying, nope, not today, not necessary. First item in Hera, 3 bombs. Do we need to go to the basement? We do. Or Teto in the Dark Mason pot. Not having found anything worth the trip over, I'd say. Tempered Sword is okay, yeah, it's nice to have it, but going to a pendant pot just for that, nah, not worth the time. And nothing in the big chest too. So yeah, probably the best of this bad situation is Teto is pretty much locked into doing Catfish now. Or to dip Eastern Palace, which we didn't see. True. That one too. Okay, this is even worse. But if Teto is not finding anything that helps him progress, he will be locked into doing Catfish at that point. Or do Zora, but not having the money. So, compass in the compass chest in Hera, how vanilla. Map in the big chest. And zenarcane. Gearing up for a Moldon fight. Has the hammer out. And that is Voldorm down. For another heart piece, and the third crystal for zenarcane. And yeah, that was a very empty mountain. Eastern Palace big chest, just having 50 rupees. Meanwhile, zenarcane heading over to the Maya area. We need Quake to enter Maya, hopefully that never shows up. And we do have a book, so we were just on the mountain. We can get right back to get Ether Tablet checked. Probably just taking the dip into desert first though. While Teto on the Eastern Palace, a big key chest will be our French vanilla bow in here. Nope, but it's an ice rod. We do need that. And yeah, Teto now pretty much locked into doing Pyramid into Catfish, then because I believe, except from Zora, which Teto has not the money for, there's simply nothing else for him to check. So still somewhat unfortunate that Teto is not able to get up to Zora money with finding that mirror there. Zora will continue to be isolated in this seed. I do have to say though, well, we do not have flippers, but I kind of would have expected to maybe see a fake flipper to Ice Palace here in this position, even though it is not in logic. We are looking for more than the flippers. And if the flippers were to be lying in the front of Eastern Palace or in port, getting that bow that is would help getting there more easily, because you can already finish that dungeon. But zenarcane committing to check the green pendant here. Meanwhile, Teto, now with the mirror open, heading up straight to the mountain. Just so many items up here to check, and his other options are K45 and Railfell Edge. Both do not have anything. That is a green pendant for zenarcane. Teto grabs the silvers. Yeah, zenarcane heading over to check about cave, probably get down to Egina, and then is most likely... Yeah, what exactly? I mean, there is that fake flipper towards Ice Palace. It is our second red crystal, and it has 3 items. We do have everything we would want to clear that dungeon with. Flippers, we only need to get in logically. They're not required otherwise for that dungeon at all. But since we do need flippers, yeah, maybe interested in trying to hunt those down. Teto getting his lamp. Grabbing a potion? I wonder if that signalizes zenarcane has maybe trip into pendant pod in mind in the near future. Which wouldn't surprise me. Nah, okay. Fake flip Ice Palace makes actually way more sense, now that I think about it. With that green potion. Having additional green potion for codes there is very nice, especially with zenarcane being only on Master Sword, so this cold save fight not the easiest in the world. So having the ability to just replenish or refill your magic, get that fire rod to work, will make things very smooth in here. Also, you do not need to worry about preserving magic in this dungeon at this point. Which can sometimes be a consideration. without Hookshot, and apparently not too familiar with the bomb strats for the Pengate room. Zenarcane struggling slightly to get those Pengaters killed quickly. Master Sword not doing enough damage to get this done very smoothly. Good icebreaker. The big key on the right side. And I want to say a potentially not Hookshot locked Ice Palace. Still depends on where the flippers are. Either Third Rock, which Teto also sees. An item in the big chest. And Teto also doing a quick check over to Misery Maya. Zenarcane didn't turn in the green pendant for now. Imagine that will be coming up soon with Red Bomb to green pendant and pot. Maybe. So I did not fully pay attention. Zenarcane did skip Iced Tea. I'm thinking we did see all three items. But I suspect there is the small key in the Iced Tea room. And that would indeed mean that Ice Palace is not Hookshot locked with the big key on the right side. So that could be potentially interesting information regarding the Red Bomb. I see a question pop up in chat about the non-progressive bow and silver arrow upgrade here. This is specific to this very mode in this tournament. The hard open has as one of the special things that we have non-progressive bows, or more or less one bow and one silver arrows upgrade. In the other four modes, Ambrosia, Key Sanity, Inverted Key Sanity, and Boss Shuffle, we do have progressive bows active. But yeah, that is very specific for this mode of the tournament. There were other tournaments in the past that had also this stipulation, but that's by no means standard and always up to the specific tournament. And there. Administration. A quick Bombos tablet check from Zenarcane. Following that book, Teto not going for land move for the green pendant, instead heading over to Myth Chain more directly, looks like. Maybe to do Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, but no, this looks pretty much like Myth Chain. Which Zenarcane will be able to do from the south and then flute the purple chest to the 7. Teto will most likely route this in the Dark World. Can grab K45 on the way. Yeah, but Zenarcane more interested in doing the Red Bomb and then probably turn in the Green Pendant, since Zenarcane did go for Landmo where just the map was on there, so you probably want to find out sooner than later if you did that for nothing. Okay, just 10 arrow on the hammer packs. We have ether on the smiths. That is very interesting because Teto has Turtle Rock axes. And with the ice rod from Eastern Palace, he will be able to finish that dungeon. Zenarcane now heading into the front of castle. Red bomb led to nothing, as did purple chest. Yeah, and I'm not very surprised. There's a full clearable crystal turtle rock on Teto's plate, so why not do it as soon as possible? No hookshot for Swamp, no bow for Eastern. Can do Hera on the way, which looks... yeah, well, Teto has to go that way. Anyway, Teto could do Ice Palace, but again, that is not in logic without the flippers, and we do need them anyway. They might just be up here in Turtle Rock. Also, Teto gets to check Ether Tablet. 22. 4 in Heart Container. So, with how the seed is gearing up for now, it looks like you have either to do a double dip of Eastern or to do a double dip of Turtle Rock. Because with the exception of Zora, I do not believe we have anything other available right now where we could find flippers or bow. Which we didn't see from at least one runner. So with that in mind, Teto's double dip Eastern Palace, probably the more attractive version of those two. Well, we do have Green Pendant. So, okay. Yeah, that's the one single check where zenarcane might find a bow to get that single dip Eastern and single dip Turtle Rock. And Green Pendant is just a Heart Priest. What a surprise. And zenarcane also now going to do the bowless pot dip. Will get up to Tempered Sword, but won't find anything in here. And then most likely, for the lack of other options, also dip Eastern Palace. So we'll get that Ice Rod and then do Smith Chain, enabling to do Turtle Rock. But yeah, that does give Teto definitely a little bit of the time he did invest it for this back. And zenarcane says, pot is bowlocked, what should I do in here? And not going to dip Eastern, instead heading for the Smith Chain. Oh, this could potentially spell a bit of trouble. So that Turtle Rock double dip that I mentioned, that's back on the table for zenarcane. Which in turn probably still means that zenarcane gets to single dip Eastern, so it won't be as much of a time loss as it sounds like currently. It's just changing the Turtle Rock double dip for the Eastern double dip. But still, that would not be helpful in this position and would definitely give Teto a bit more time to get back into this race. So far though, in front of Turtle Rock, apparently not that interesting. Nothing found so far. Getting to check Mimic Cave. And there's the bow. So yeah, pick your poison. Double dip Eastern or double dip Turtle Rock. And knowing what's coming, I think most likely people would take the double dip Eastern. Depends a bit on what we also have here in Turtle Rock. Because that bow alone is not opening up much for us. We do need it to finish, but it's not really helping. I think there is not even an item left on Armor's Knights. I could be wrong though. And yeah, I did not pay enough attention to know if there's an item on Helmasaur. But yeah. That are at most 2 items to grab. And zenarcane says, well, I'm just a quake away from pedestal and the bow. And we do have still mirrors and bow and hookshot. Pet check to reveal even if there were half magic in this item pool, we wouldn't have gotten it since it's on pedestal, but it's not even that. It's just a small magic it's sitting there. Meanwhile, Teto did find the hookshot. Needs to be a bit careful though. Is probably wanting to grab that safety door now. Also, we did see bombos. Will make Teto's trip through Ice Palace a bit more comfortable. And that's the small key for Turtle Rock. And yep, zenarcane heads up to the mountain. So we'll be finding that bow, but won't be able to fight Trinix. So yeah, it will depend on where the flippers are. If the flippers are here in Hookshot, which Teto is checking, a Hookshot cave, which Teto is checking immediately after. Then there is a possibility that zenarcane might try Swamp before Eastern Palace in search of that ice rod, which Teto is able to fully go mode at this point with flippers. The only thing we still need. There are the flippers, go mode for Teto. Okay, Teto has everything for him set out to do. There's the bow for zenarcane and mimic killers. Meanwhile, Teto already fighting Argus. For the Cane of Burner. So some sort of invincibility also found. With Tempered Sword Silvers, I doubt it will come into play for Ganon, but could be something nice to have for if you're in a pinch. Teto going for the Go Mode Ice Palace. Has then to finish out Eastern. And can do Hera if not done already immediately before the GT. So also Go Mode Hera in that case. Teto's in a good position here. Both still have to do that Eastern Palace clear. Teto has just to go to the boss. zenarcane needs to grab the Ice Rod. There's also Swamp to do for zenarcane, where Teto is doing Ice Palace here in Go Mode. And yeah, zenarcane will have to go back to Trinix, where Teto only has to do Hera. And even any portal saves, Go Mode Hera is just faster. So yeah, not having to do all those mirror checks and being able to completely Go Mode Ice Palace is working out in Teto's favor, apparently. And we see one thing here that is kind of the problem for the portal save that zenarcane is intending to do here. Going back up in the light world, just to enter back here in the dark world. Right, for the Hookshot cave. Right. But yeah, this additional extra trip of time to get here and be able to preserve the portal over at Spy Cave. Yeah, that's already one of the points that does not really make the portal save that viable anymore. And deciding, well, I have the flippers, I can go Swamp, rip the portal. And zenarcane is going to Swamp. This is a full tier Swamp for zenarcane, not having the Ice Rod. And yeah, it looked very good with the mirror on Catfish for zenarcane for the longest time, but many things locked behind that mirror drove Teto back there very early on, and the Ice Rod Teto did find in Eastern Palace in the meantime, which zenarcane did decided against in favor of doing Smith Chain. Flip this race right on its tail. And led zenarcane to unnecessarily clear a Swamp Palace, which Teto was able to fully Go Mode. And I'm certainly not blaming zenarcane to go do Swamp Palace first here in this position, because that bow is not simply opening up Eastern Palace, where there are still 3 items in the crystal in there, but there's also Pop that could be opened up with the bow, where zenarcane just dipped into the first chest, saw its bow locked, and went out. So you most likely want to combine those twos if you have to. And in the meantime, you can just do Swamp Palace as a crystal here. See if the Ice Rod is in here, so in that case, Turtle Rock Double Dead would have been required if the Ice Rod is Hookshot locked. And yeah, probably skipping left side Swamp here. There's just too many items over in Eastern and Pots for you to grab, to be worried about 2 items on the left side. But still, those additional checks zenarcane is making, they take a few minutes extra, or at least a few seconds. About a minute, 1.5 maybe. And that's time zenarcane does simply not have anymore. That sword advantage also coming from pots on Teto's side would be a factor in GT. There's the 4th sword not turning up somewhere. And yeah, Teto getting bailed out by the ice rods and zenarcane's maybe slightly unusual decisions compared to the meta routing. In the end, coming back to bite you. Over to pot, opening up, seeing it's bow locked, and then not dipping Eastern while you're already there. I can see the reasoning behind it. On the other side, it's just as many items in Eastern as there were on the Smith chain, kind of. And you already made your way up all the way to here. You were looking for something more, so... zenarcane had the option to, chose simply against to do the checks that were required. But Teto already on the way back up Dark Death Mountain. On the way to Ganon's Tower. There are 22 positions in there where the big key can be. So while Teto does not have 7 crystals yet, prepare your guesses, because there won't be much time after the 7th crystal is in Teto's hand. So in kind of that situation, I'd say let's just start the big key guessing game now, because Teto is doing Moldor, get into the mirror portal back, and we'll be opening up GT. So until then, you have time to get your guesses in the chat at which spot Teto is going to find that GT big key. That is Hera done. Another time save for Teto being able to do this on the way to GT with Hera pod. So get back out, get back into the portal, open up GT. And zenarcane is heading for left side, hoping that the ice rod is here. Something that Teto is known for to skip in many situations. Not always, but it's not likely Teto is checking it. So maybe knowing that, go into hope that there's an ice rod here and get the advantage over Teto after doing that third rock dip. Again, Ice Rod and Swarm most likely also means that you're double dipping third rock in this seed anyway, even if it's not Hookshot locked itself. You're more likely to dip third rock, I'd say, than to dip Hook the Swarm. Okay, Teto starts left, first 5, no big key. And that is the number 7 over there in Hope Room. And the cookie for a day, very fast and spot on. Congratulations to nailing that big key. But that means Teto on the way up GT, just a climb with 15 hearts, silver arrows, tempered sword. I do not remember if Teto restocked on potions at some point after using that green one for pot. And yeah, zenarcane, heading over to pot, Mirren over to Eastern. In case Ice Rod isn't pot, you're still doing Eastern Palette first, since it's the crystal. But preparing for if it's not an Eastern. Makes sense here with the mirror. Will mean though that zenarcane loses a few more seconds here. That is going the slightly longer way to pot instead of just heading over up over to Eastern. And yeah, no big troubles here. Climb or Teto. They have a very comfortable item set. And with tempered sword, most of our runners are practiced enough in this at this point that there are no major troubles to be expected during the climb. Tempered sword, silvers, fire rod, lamp, powder, where zenarcane finds the ice rod and is in go mode. Just that Teto is already up GT. Oh, apparently there was a poke instead of the spin hitting, so there was the rage phase for Moldorn. But Teto does manage to get it done. Ignores the last chest, because what should he find in there but a sword? Who needs that? And then... moving on to Age 2. There should be a triple. First phase here. Gets a double. That is Age 2-1. 2 done. 3-2-1. So, zenarcane, 6 crystals collected on the way to Turtle Rock and then to Eastern Palace. To GT, but there's Ganon on the screen for Teto. 12 slashes. Spins do count double. Double spin counts 4 times that way. 1 cycle in the first phase achieved. 12 slashes for the second phase, 2. 1 cycle achieved for the second phase. Teto. already on phase 3. 4 slashes after each hit a row of tiles will fall down, and then there's 4 more silver arrows you have to land on Ganon after stunning him to defeat that final boss of this race, which would be one last bridge to cross. It was setting up for triple. I don't think he gets this. Oh, still gets it. Okay. And yep, that's Ganon defeated. Teto taking a bit of safety space to let that bridge spawn. He had that one fall already, no need to get another this tournament. But crosses that bridge and finishes this game 3 versus zenarcane with an official time of 1 hour, 21 minutes and 30 seconds, proceeding to top 16. GG's. Looks like we will get Teto for an interview, as zenarcane noticed that finish from Teto and has forfeited from the seat. So GG's to zenarcane too. Let's see if we can get zenarcane in here too, as we do have Teto here already. So GG's Teto, congratulations to getting into top 16.
Hera and GG zenarcane, greetings.
GG's, Teto.
GG.
Oh, I mean, we had just in the beginning, we had 2 seeds already, which were like, one of us did something really good and that paid off so much, and the other one skipped it or delayed the check, and so both races earlier were decided like mid game, and one was already finishing, the other one wasn't even near Ganon's tower, and we hope for a nail biter this day, and to be fair, it felt like one with those last locating mirror, and my only hope might be the sword advantage and the ice sword be from failure later on.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened here, as zenarcane. That was a very quick Catfish play, and boy, could have had paid out big.
I was like, normally I'm going Pyramid Catfish, but with the red crystals, like, so sometimes you want to combine it with the red crystals. They were pretty much out of reach, but decided to this time, don't go there. I think zenarcane, you decided against those checks the first race. So I was like, so maybe he's doing the same, and we both might last locate-ish Catfish.
Yeah, I just thought,
Yeah.
needing a fire rod with a red crystal on both things that
Absolutely.
usually need fire rod, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go check it now, get it out of the way, and I was like, oh, hey, that's really nice. And then, cleared pretty much everything, and then after mitts is when everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah, it's like I was getting all the items, so this is feeling nice, but I should need progression at some point. And with the firewood later, it's like you want to combine the red bomb with pyramid and catfish now. So let's go Palace of Darkness. I mean, it's pendant, so at least not bowlocked maybe, and you get something out of it. So there's a big key. It's instantly bowlocked. And at this point, I was in the rabbit hole to enter Eastern Palace just to make up for it somehow.
Yeah, and I was like, as soon as I saw it was bow locked, I was like, no. And then I think I even hesitated on after my mirror before I fluted. I hesitated about going into Eastern. Like I should probably go in here and check this right now. but decided against it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go do Smith Chain and hope for a bow there, and then come back, or be led elsewhere. And unfortunately, I should have gone in.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That either then sent you down a very different rabbit hole, which at that point made totally sense, but yeah, unfortunately, it just led you to check all those things that were not necessary while Teto could go mode pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
I was scared that zenarcane maybe go the Smith Chain, everything else, get the medallion, just go for, alright, let's dive TR, because that's how you played earlier, and I like those playstyles, and you did at some point. And getting the bow, try to save the mirror, which you could totally do at this. You had this blood, save the mirror, save the portal on Turtle Walk, just go for the only clearable easy dungeon with the bow, Eastern Palace, get the Ice Ward, go back into Turtle Walk, clear Turtle Walk off, and get the flippers out of Hookshot Cave. And it's like, so, oh, this would be a pretty good route, and this is totally possible at this point. Oh, I'm so scared. So, this was what I was expecting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I ignored Smith Chain this time instead of going right back for it. I was thinking, right, Eastern pods, really really dense. Oh, I got mitts. Well, let's go check, Mire area, see if I can get it, see what I need to get in, or if I'm ever gonna have to get in, pull some stuff, get a few checks. Green Pendant, yeah, well, let's do that. We'll take it back with us just in case Green Pendant something. But it was all nothing. And got the book, which led me down another rabbit hole as well.
Yeah, I got those items as well, so it was like, so, oh, what should I do next? I could sequence break Ice Palace, but why? And I got all those mirror checks, which I knew probably have played way earlier, and I don't want to play those, but decided for the Smith Chain, just to go maybe K45, checking the tablet, and the only missing checks would have been Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb at this point. Never played. So I hadn't really much checks left, so I was still looking for where's the next big progression item. And after like getting the medallion, I was like, oh, that's the medallion, I should enter Maya. Oh, wait a second, that's the Turtle Rock medallion, right? So I was a little bit confused. It's like, so I was going full of playing Maya and going all in the seat after it was really late. It was so.
Yeah, definitely. No, I completely understand that. It was the right call. There's lots of things I wish I would have done differently, after Mitts,
Yeah.
but I made my choices and I stick by them. Would I redo them? Probably, but that's knowing what's here. I was just trying to make sure, like I was also thinking of things that you probably wouldn't do. As well, because like I know you're a very very great aggressive player, so if Green Pendant has something, that gives me a slight advantage, so I'm not going to be any closer than now to get that Green Pendant. I haven't touched Pod and Eastern, so it was a pretty good shout. I just didn't follow that up doing that when I was in Eastern.
Yeah, I really do appreciate your thoughts about deciding for one play style, or even mid game, you mid race, you decide like I'm feeling behind or I'm feeling pretty advantage position here, and just stick to your play. So I really like that attitude of yours. So that's making a good player even better at this point. So like you got your mindset, you're going to play your game, and you're not going back. So it's like somewhere the dice were already rolled, and it's like whoever got the advantage in the checks or with the items right now is going to win this. So it wasn't that close of a race, but pretty interesting, and we both had our outs, how to win this game or not. And this,
and that's how all of our seeds seem to have been.
Yeah.
Just we played our games, and the items fell each other's way in the respective games.
So big respect and great GGs. Totally, you would have totally deserved it to reach the top 16 alone with this attitude of playing the game. So maybe next tournament, I'm wishing you best of luck for that. But
and same to you going forward.
Yeah, what a fight over 3 games.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Like I really appreciate that coming from you because like I know you're a fantastic racer. Thank you so much, and GG's again to you, and good luck in the top 16. I know you have another strong opponent just straight away coming up, so good luck. Um, and since you beat me last year in the Challenge Cup, the person who beat me in Challenge Cup and knocked me out won the Challenge Cup. So that's your goal now. You just gotta win main.
Yeah, no pressure. Thanks for
No,
that.
no pressure.
Thanks for that.
I mean, your next opponent just P-Train. That's not much to worry about, right? And after that, it's just the winner of Schulze versus Moogle Charm and all those names. So
I didn't expect to beat Shady Force in the first round, and after this, you go with a lot of confidence in the second. Have another great fight. So, I'm over my limit in this tournament. So reaching the top 16 is and might be the highlight of my random career at this point. So, yeah, we will see what happens next. I never check my opponent just until I won. What a race. Let me check right now. I don't know. I've never checked it before because we're living from one week or from one game to another, and things could change here pretty fast.
Best of luck in your top 16 matches against P-Train. It is rando. Anything can happen at this point. Everybody's able to beat anyone. So it always depends what the seed is giving to you. We will be watching. It will be exciting. So yeah. Best of luck, Teto. zenarcane, for you, the tournament is over. Maybe a few questions regarding your run. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, my goal this year was only just to even make the main tournament. So making the main tournament was, after that, I felt like I was, sort of playing with house money. Because that's all I wanted to do was make it. I squeaked through groups against, Scholzer and DT and Swedish Arctic Fox. So I managed to squeak through that. And I met another really tough opponent in the first round in T-Stu and managed to scrape my way through that as well. So like I feel really lucky. I'm really happy with my performance. I'm just gonna keep moving forward and keep playing and come on Cross-Keys tournament.
The casual boots tournament and the tournament. Yeah. there are tournaments all over the place.
And it's too far away from League, I'd say. We do have this SpeedGaming coming up in a few months. So yeah, there is just stuff going on all over the year. How did you like the modes and the way they're presented or chosen? Let's say, did you enjoy that? Was that not as much of your favorite of this tournament?
I liked it personally. I like playing different modes instead of one mode all the time. Like I find that much more enjoyable. It gives a great breadth of knowledge about rando because keys play just different to open, inverted plays different to everything. Throwing in that boss shuffle, you get some risk taking if you think you can beat a dungeon or you're gonna waste time. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the fact that like Teto and I couldn't get open hard back to back, so we were forced to play at least two different modes, I think is fantastic. So I mean, there's probably going to be some iteration on it, I would think, till next year, but I like it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I think I do not really have anything else to ask. So if you have anything you want to mention, now is your final chance for both of you.
I just want to say, thank you for all the restreams, throughout my tournament run. Thank you. I heard you took over the SG stream and dropped the German restream, so thank you, Raylan, for that. That's amazing. Thanks for tracking, and thanks everyone for watching. Like, I hope we put on a good show for everyone.
Yeah, nothing to add there. Thanks for the restreams and thanks for being a wonderful opponent in the tournaments in the game.
You as well, Teto.
I hope we'll meet each other again in the future in ladder races or something else. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Okay. So yeah, we can get towards the end here. If you have not done so yet, first, why not? But second, leave a final.
A final follow.
No, leave a follow, not the final one, but the first one of many to probably anyone here in the tournament. But especially those two runners you saw today, they put on 3 exciting races. And yeah, if you like what they saw, what you've seen from them, give them the follow, and you maybe see even more of that. So yeah, it's always you can do. If you want to do, you can also do follow the commentator or tracker. Especially a big shout out here on Nervendolch. Doing the tracking here, it's always appreciated that people do this to help us put on these free streams in their free time. Yeah, big shout outs there. As for upcoming races, there are still quite a few happening over the weekend. Let me just take a quick peek. We do have one at 1 p.m. Eastern. The round of 32 Scottish Brave versus Skilly will be happening on SpeedGaming 2. Then a bit later than that, we have a round of 16 match already, and it's not even the first one. It's the second race between Roar and Matt7898. Following up that race on SpeedGaming 2, the prior one between Scottish Brave and Skilly. So, if you want to see more rando, tune in at 1 p.m. to SpeedGaming 2 and stay tuned for 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time. You will have 2 great races back to back. And that's not all that's happening today. Later on in the evening, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, there will be 2 more races going on. GFE versus Vortex of Doom and Telethar versus Zero Rush will happen. Aside from that, there are a few additional things on the SpeedGaming channels of different tournaments. The Super Metroid Randomizer multi-category tournament is going strong. There will be one race at 11:10 p.m. a.m. early a.m. 11:10. We do have the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer happening. That on SpeedGaming. The Super Metroid will be on SpeedGaming 2. And some more stuff. The Super 16th apparently is happening at 12 p.m. on Eastern. 12 p.m. Eastern on the SpeedGaming main channel. So if you're interested in that, tune in there. And yeah, many more things coming over the day. But yeah, that's all from here for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this. And yeah, I hope we can see you again for the next races. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Wonderful Saturday morning, evening, wherever you are. Until next time.